It's
How are you this evening, Emily?
I'm doing well.
All right.
It's been busy.
I am sure it has been. A little bit like spring, everything's busting out all over. Oh,
I think we have everyone. You can get started whenever you're ready.
okay. Well, it's according to my computer, it's 5:30, so we'll get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Zoning Hearing Board for the City of Reading for the month of June. Thank you all for tuning in and participating. I'm going to introduce the members of the board. Jeff,
Jeff Catone, member of the board.
Bill,
Bill Horst, member of the board.
Tom,
Tom Fox, member of the board.
Steve? Steve, you're still muted. Nope, you're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Now you're okay.
All right, Steve Price, solicitor to the board.
Emily?
Emily Diaz-Melendez, zoning office.
Okay, thank you. We have some decisions to render this evening. And the first is Appeal 2022-19. It involved 615, 617, and 619 Walnut Street. Mr. Price.
Is there a motion to approve the relief subject to the conditions set forth in the written decision?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Bill seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay. The next appeal was 2022-20. It was 431 West Oley Street. Mr. Price?
Is there a motion to deny the relief requested?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Bill seconded.
All right. All in favor to deny, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay. The next was Appeal 2022-21, 1235 and 1237 Carbon Street. Mr. Price?
Is there a motion to approve the relief requested subject to the conditions set forth in the written decision? So moved. Is there a
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Appeal 2022-22, 1849 Perkiomen Avenue.
Is there a motion to approve the relief requested subject to the conditions set forth in the written decision?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Okay, there's a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
The next appeal is 2022-23. It's 338 Madison Avenue. Mr. Price?
Is there a motion to approve the relief requested subject to the conditions set forth in the written decision?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the next is Appeal 2022-24, and it involved 416, 418, and 420 Walnut Street.
Is there a motion to approve the relief requested subject to the conditions set forth in the written decision?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have 3 hearings this evening. The first is Appeal 2019-15. This involves 218 West Greenwich Street. Jose Abreu seeks dimensional variances for a detached garage constructed at the rear of the property. It was originally denied by the Zoning Hearing Board on September the 11th, 2019, and it has been remanded to the board for further proceedings. The property is located in the R3 residential zoning district. Mr. Abreu, are you present?
He's present, and I will be representing him, Alex Alfieri.
Okay, do you want to enter your appearance? And then we'll have him sworn in or anybody else that you would like to have testify. So go ahead.
Okay.
Can you get closer to your mic, Mr. Alfieri?
Sure.
It's very muffled.
Not any better?
Not really. It's going to be hard for the stenographer to take your questions down.
Not any better?
A little bit, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. I begin?
Yeah, go ahead. You can enter your appearance and then we'll swear in any witnesses you have.
So I'd enter my appearance, Alex Alfieri. It's Alfieri, and I'm at the firm Rick Stock Law on behalf of Mr. Abreu. And I would seek to make an offer of proof on his behalf. I did send Attorney Price a couple exhibits today as well.
Yep. So you're going to do an offer of proof, Mr. Alfieri?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me do a couple of things first, okay? Number one, I guess, Emily, this property was posted or not?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me put some exhibits into the record and I'll put some other stuff into the record. Exhibit number 1 is the notice. Exhibit number 2 is proof of publication of the notice. Exhibit number 3 is proof of posting of the notice. Exhibit number 4 is the application, including all of its attachments. And exhibit number 5 is the zoning ordinance of the city of Reading as amended. As Mr. Rabina said, this is a remand from the Court of Common Pleas of Berks County to take additional evidence. So we will incorporate the transcript from the prior hearing, which set forth like the basics about who owns the property and where it's located and the general configuration of the alley and the neighborhood. And I'll put it back to you, Mr. Alfieri, to discuss what the additional evidence would be.
So the additional evidence would be plaintiff's exhibit 1 through 26. I'm not sure if these have been distributed to the members of the board.
Was that sent to the zoning office as well today?
I believe they were only sent to your office.
Oh, okay, because normally Emily would control being able to put the photos up. I do have the photos, but I don't have the ability to put those up on the screen. Do you have the ability to do that, Mr. Alfieri?
Give me one moment. I may be able to share my screen with everyone on this call. Give me 1 second here. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that.
And then just after the hearing, if you could also send them to the zoning office so we have record of it.
Certainly.
In the meantime, do you want to swear me in?
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Has notice of the hearing been given? Ms.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
I can, yep.
Yes,
So I'll run through the exhibits then for purposes of the record and just go exhibit by exhibit. And this would be the only additional evidence from, that wasn't included in the prior record. So plaintiff exhibit 1 depicts the back rear of the property prior to the erection of the garage. And you'll notice there's a fence in the back of the property. That fence is no longer there. You'll also notice that the roadway is unpaved. That's how it appeared prior to the garage and the walkway being installed. Plaintiff's exhibit 2 is prior to the installation of the garage as well. You'll notice again that this is here the roadway, how it appeared, and there was a fence then blocking the back of the property. Plaintiff's exhibit 3 is a side angle of one of the properties. So plaintiff's exhibit 4 depicts the property when that fence was removed. Plaintiff's exhibit 5 depicts the property as the garage was being constructed. Plaintiff's exhibit 6 depicts a garage further down that alleyway. Exhibit 7 again depicts the property as the garage was being constructed. Exhibit 8 would show where those fences appeared to be and where there was the gravel alleyway. Exhibit 9 again would show the rear of the property as well as the asphalt being put down. Plaintiff's exhibit 10 depicts the side of the garage on the side of the property in which the house is detached, and then it also depicts the property next door.
Is that a garage on the neighboring property?
On the neighboring property in the back, I believe that's just an awning on the back of their home.
Oh, okay, all right.
Again, this is an image of what the roadway looked like after the garage was erected. And here's a picture of the garage itself. So if you recall, exhibit 1 depicted those fences and then kind of the gravel walkway behind the properties. And then this is how it appears now. Again, exhibit 13 depicts the garage as it appears today. Exhibit 14 shows the garage on the detached side of the property, and it also depicts the alleyway that goes in between the properties. Exhibit 15 again shows the garage and then the additional parking areas. If you recall, the fencing took up this entire area in plaintiff's exhibit 1.
So the asphalt area services your client's property as well, or is that for a neighboring property?
That is part of his property as well. Yeah, that's his property as well. Again, this depicts the plaintiff's exhibit 16 shows the side of the garage in relation on the detached side of the property. Exhibit 17 depicts the garage as well as the paved area. As does exhibit 18. Exhibit 19 depicts the front of the property of the residence. As does exhibit 20. Exhibit 21 can be disregarded. That is not part of this property.
Is that on the alleyways?
Exhibit 21 is farther down the alleyway, and I believe that's someone else's property. It's not part of this property, and it does not abut any part of the property. Exhibit 21 depicts a garage that is also within that alleyway going away from the property. Or excuse me, exhibit 22. Exhibit 23 shows the portion of the alleyway which is unpaved. And you'll notice that towards the end of the alleyway, it's extremely narrow. Prior to the erection of the garage in that parking area, if you were to pull straight down that alleyway, you would not be able to continue all the way forward. You would have to reverse your car all the way back down the alleyway to exit. What that additional parking spot has done has allowed individuals that do enter that alleyway to then actually turn around in that parking area, which used to be fenced off. Exhibit 24 depicts another garage that's also located towards the far end of that alleyway. Exhibit 25 shows the garage would be on the left if you're looking at that exhibit, and it shows straight down the alleyway. Prior to the installation of the garage, all of this area was, as it was depicted in P1, debris and grass. And then plaintiff's exhibit 26 depicts an area that's not part of the residence. As is seen here in plaintiff's exhibit 23, this is how the entire alleyway appeared, and it was narrow to the point where a car would not be able to come down that way, as this was all fenced off. Now, if a car does come down that way, they actually have the ability to turn around here and get out of the alleyway. And again, that's the finished garage as well as the additional spots next to it.
And since the construction of the garage and the parking spaces and the macadam, have there been any problems with the neighboring property owners regarding this? Has there been any complaints?
There have not been complaints. There have actually been praise because people can now actually, maneuver in that alleyway better, whereas cars would, kind of get stuck in the alleyway because they couldn't go forward and they'd end up having to reverse all the way backwards, as it appears in P1. And this is what that area used to look like. It was significantly cut off by that fence and I guess it was cinder blocks.
Well, I don't have any questions. Do members of the board have questions for either Mr. Alfieri or his client?
Okay, let's start. Mr. Harsh, do you have any questions?
No questions?
Mr. Fox, any questions?
Yes, I have two questions. First of all, that narrow point, the narrow point of the alleyway, no cars can travel in that. In other words, they have to come in from the other end. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And a second question, just to clarify, Mr. Abreu owns the property next door that has the driveway that is blacktop. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's part of, that is the rear of his home.
But he owns two properties there, side by side. Is that correct?
This part.
The part that the car is parked in is that isn't the same property that the garage.
That is his nephew's property.
It's the property next door.
That's his nephew. He said it's his nephew's property, Mr. Fox.
All right, I didn't get nephews. So we're talking there about two different properties. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gattone, questions?
Mr. Fox sort of jumped on my question. If I remember going back a couple of years, that property looking at the garage from the rear, that picture 17 that I'm looking at right now, as it were, the nephew's property, that was not part of our discussion. Now, wait a minute. Back up. Am I correct? That was not part of our discussion. Back when we were discussing that way back.
The discussion should have only been for the garage structure, not the blacktop.
Okay, well, that, all right. Now, if that is a part of the family member, it seems that there was a bone of contention looking at the garage on the left side, that the house was not meeting the setback. Just concerned that perhaps the garage could have moved over that troublesome couple of inches, the construction a little bit more to the right with the permission of the nephew. Could you clarify that for me?
To
Or
my,
maybe my question is vague.
I think the garage is 1.3 feet from the property line and should be 3 feet from the property line.
Right, property line of the house, not the nephew's house,
The other
but the
house,
other house.
going to the
correct?
left. Correct.
Yes,
my understanding is that it only applies to the detached portion of the property. The attached portion has no setback requirement.
That's correct. The setback would only apply to the one side where the building, where the main residence is not attached.
okay.
Anything else, Mr. Gatone?
No,
All right, anybody in the audience? have
I have a couple things.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure that there was anybody in the audience, and I'll get to you and to Steve in just a second. Nobody in the audience? Okay, then Emily, questions? Go ahead.
Just quick question, that house next door with the blacktop, is that 216?
Yes,
Okay, that parking was denied. So, and that parking is in violation. So, we're going to need to see that come back into the zoning office, and that's gonna, just FYI. Can you go to exhibit 16?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, 17.
yeah,
That, okay, so that fence, that's part of 216 as well, right?
this is the nephew's thing. Yeah. Yes,
Okay, so it's not gonna be relevant for this case, but there's no permit for that either, just so
okay.
you're aware.
Okay.
But, okay, so all of my questions had to do with 216. I would recommend that either he or his nephew come into the office. We need to rectify those violations.
Okay, I'll advise him.
Other than that, I don't have anything for 218.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Price?
I don't have anything.
All right, and we have nobody in the audience to my knowledge. Do you have anything else you would like to add, sir, on behalf of your client?
Nothing
All
additional.
right. Well, your exhibits will be admitted, Mr. Alfieri.
Yeah, I would move that they be admitted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, then that concludes this appeal. We'll issue a decision at next month's meeting. You need not necessarily tune in. The decision will be mailed to you, and we thank you for your assistance in this matter. Thank you.
Very much. Have a nice
Thank
evening.
you. Good night.
Okay. All right. The next matter before us is Appeal 2022-25. It is 1222 Schuylkill Avenue. Ernesto A. Serrata is seeking dimensional variances for a carport constructed at the rear of the subject property. The subject property is located in the R3 residential district. Okay, I see Mr. Serrata is on the screen. Does he have an attorney?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's swear in our zoning officer, please.
You swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Has notice for this appeal been given?
It has.
Okay, Mr. Price.
Okay, let me put some exhibits into the record. Exhibit number 1 is the notice. Exhibit number 2 is proof of publication of the notice. Exhibit number 3 is proof of posting of the notice. Exhibit number 4 is the application, including all of its attachments. And exhibit number 5 is the zoning ordinance of the city of Reading as amended.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Serrata, you know why you have been cited by the city for your carport? Do you understand why you were cited?
Yes, I understand, but
Will you please raise your right hand?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Please.
Do you swear- Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, I owe.
Okay, thank you. All right. I believe in the letter that you got from the city, they told you that you can have a carport, but it has to be within certain dimensions. Is there any way that you can modify your carport that could meet the standards for the city?
This is why I appeal the decision, because I got that dimensions because the water was flooding through the basement. So I gotta cover the whole carport because the water was, I don't know if you understand. Do you have an interpreter for me?
I understand what you're saying, that the land sloped towards your property
Yeah.
and you
So-
built a carport to try to keep the water out of your
Yeah,
basement.
the basement, because it was too wet. I was scared to my house, you know?
Right. Well, okay, I can understand why you would want to, rectify that. The
If I can
problem,
show you that picture. I don't know if you can see that water in the basement.
okay, no, I believe what you're saying because, that is a common problem in certain areas and we understand that. But I guess what the problem becomes is the city sets these standards not only for safety, there's a great number of reasons that the city does this. And there's probably maybe a better way to have rectified that problem than this. So what you're really telling me is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're really telling me that there isn't much you can do to keep the water out of your basement unless you continue to have that carport there. Is that a correct statement?
I don't know if I use the correct words, but the thing is, I have 2 cars that I got it covered too, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, I would like to have some space for cooking out with my family, you know? I'm a single dad. I got like a little basketball hook on the same carport. So that's the thing. I thought that's gonna be nice because nobody complain about that. That's the only beautiful thing that we have on the alley. My carport. So I can understand if I don't take the right dimensions, but this is why I'm here, because I want to apologize to you guys.
Mr. Serrata, let me ask you a question. When did you erect that carport?
Okay, sure. The carport was constructed on March 2020 when the lockdown, with the lockdown, you know. I
Right.
lost my job because the pandemic, and I said, gotta do something in my backyard because I was doing nothing at home, you know.
So since March of 2020, have any of your neighbors, especially the people right to the right of you or right to the left of you, have they complained about the carport?
Nothing because my carport is now on the complete dimension of my backyard. You know, it's like 3 foot shorter than my backyard. I can show you a picture too.
Yeah, we have a picture. Yep.
But nobody complain about the carport.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. I'm sorry, Mr. Urbina.
Oh, let me show you.
No, that's fine. Mr. Fox, do you have any question?
Yes, sir. Did you check, do any of your neighbors have the same problem that you have relative to the water? Are you the only one?
No, I can say I'm the only one, but I'm not too old in this house because I bought this house like 3 years ago. I don't know about my neighbor on the right or on the left, but my neighbor on the left, he got the same, he covered with concrete the whole parking lot. You know what I mean? His backyard is a concrete complete.
So his backyard is completely concreted, but doesn't have a roof over it, correct?
Yeah. But I'm not sure about if he got the same problem with the water like me. You know what I mean?
All right, this is a question for Emily, for our zoning administrator. Have you explained to him, he could build this shed, but he would have to be smaller? Is that correct? In other words, it would be possible to put a carport in there, but he would have to change the dimensions of it?
This was, the other inspector, Ruth Sassaman, she's the one that had denied the letter. I don't know if she's had a conversation with him. I have not, but your statement is correct. It's not that the carport isn't allowed, is that it doesn't meet the standards.
How much would it have to be reduced, Emily?
I'm not exactly sure. If you give me a minute, I can probably do a quick calculation.
Okay.
It's just based on the submitted site plan, that we had, that was submitted on March 18th. Just the house itself, he would already be over his building coverage. And so regardless, he would need a variance to build any type of carport. He does still have a little less than 700 square, or I'm sorry, a little less than 200 square feet that he could cover in macadam for impervious coverage. But regardless, for an actual structure, he would need a variance anyways.
Okay.
And that's just based on the site plan submitted on March 18th.
Well, would it be possible to work with him and make sure he understands that so he could get, is it possible to put some kind of a shelter there for his car and to keep the water out? Is that doable, Emily?
Yeah, we can definitely work with him. The board would still need to grant a variance, and you can do it on condition that it would be for, that he would have to coordinate with us on what would be acceptable, but he would still need relief from the board just to build the structure. In any size.
But we as a board could make that a condition if he would agree to it. We could possibly-
To work with the zoning office, so that way we can see where we could kind of come to a compromise.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gattone.
Yes, I'm looking at the carport from the rear, looking at, I guess it's, I can see the car. I'm thinking about the downspout system, where the water goes. I noticed that the roof of the carport, it's at an angle toward the one side and not the other. So the majority of the water would in fact run off the right side. Downspout, where does the water go? you understand my question with the shape of that
Yeah.
roof?
The water go to the left side of the property, so we got a drain on the floor on the left side, so the water go through that drain.
No, wait, the left side, I'm looking at, I'm looking at your carport from the rear, and I see that it's at an angle. It's like,
Yeah.
it's up at an angle to the higher on the left than it is on the right. So you have your downspout. The majority of the water will come looking at the carport from the rear. The water is coming, majority of the water will flow from the left to the right on the roof. And your downspout, where does that water go? Looking at your carport from the right, where does the water go?
It's
Does
going
that
to
affect your?
the side to the property on the left. But I got like, I got a gutter on the side of the carport.
Okay, I'm just wondering where it goes.
No, no,
Okay, because the water,
Where it goes there.
you may be taking it away from the one side, and where does it go to the other? That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I got a gutter on that side.
Okay,
All right. Emily, any questions?
No questions.
You can see the other property. You see the dimension on the fence. My carport is more shorter than my neighbor.
All right, Mr. Price, any question?
No, Mr. Rabiner.
All right, anybody in the audience have any questions? All right, seeing none. Does anybody else have anything they would either like to ask or add to this appeal? If not, I'm going to close it. Okay. We're going to close this appeal. We'll issue a decision at next month's meeting. You need not be here. A decision will be mailed to you. And we thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay,
Bye, Mr. Serrano.
Have a good one, guys, and thank you so much.
you're welcome, sir. Thank you. Are you okay, Sandy?
I am.
All
Thank you.
right. The next is Appeal 2022-26. It is 333 Pine Street, Milton Vinsano Nieves Mantua is seeking variances and appeal of the January 27th, 2022 zoning officer determination to convert a single-family dwelling into 2 dwelling units and variance for off-street parking requirements. The subject property is located in the R3 residential district. All right, is the applicant present?
Yes,
Hello. All right, would you swear in our zoning officer first, please?
You swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Has notice for this appeal been given?
It has.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Price.
Thanks. I'll put some exhibits into the record. Exhibit number 1 is the notice. Exhibit number 2 is proof of publication of the notice. Exhibit number 3 is proof of posting of the notice. Exhibit number 4 is the application, including all of its attachments. And exhibit number 5 is the zoning ordinance of the city of Reading as amended.
Okay. Sir, did you understand from the letter that the zoning officer's office sent you? Oh, yeah, wait a minute. I need to swear you in first. You wanna
Please,
swear
please,
him in, please?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you understand from the letter that the zoning office sent you why you have been denied? Your appeal has been denied. Do you understand that?
yes, I understand.
So understanding that this is not something that really is approved in that district, did you start this project before you were cited?
I understand the zoning deny me because when I make a drawing, I didn't make the right way. That was my mistake. That's why I know the zoning deny me, the first. The other is the
Hold on a second. I don't mean to be, I think we're gonna have a language issue here. Do you agree?
I mean, I'm not a professional interpreter, but I can translate.
Well, I think we'd be better to get a continuance and have a professional come in, so it makes it easier on the applicant.
Okay, would you like me to
Yeah, why
tell
don't
him
you-
that?
Yes.
Okay, señor Milton. Nosotros no tenemos interpretora hoy para esta junta. Usted no puso en la aplicación para la junta que necesitabas interpretora.
me he olvidado.
Ok, está bien. Entonces, lo que queremos preguntar es si podemos preguntar para un, se llama continuance, para hacerlo el mes que viene en julio, para que nosotros podemos tener una interpretora para usted.
Oh, está bien también, sí.
Okay, so I explained, I just verified with him if he had marked on his application, if he needed an interpreter, he said he had forgotten. I asked him if he'd be okay doing it next month in July, so we can get an interpreter for him, and he said that he's okay with the continuance.
All right, I think that's the best thing, unless the board disagrees.
No, I do not disagree at all with that. I will make a motion that we give him a continuance until July and let him understand he does not have to pay an additional fee or anything like that.
Okay, entonces lo que van a hacer, ellos van a votar para que usted pueda venir el mes que viene y vamos a tener una interpretora para usted ahí y no tienes que pagar nada extra, ¿ok?
Muy bien, muy agradecido.
Okay,
Thank you,
board
sir.
members, do I have a second to my motion?
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we will see you in July with an interpreter and hopefully things will go a little bit better for everybody because we do want to be fair about this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, that concludes our meeting for June. We will see you in July. Hope you all have a good 4th of July and continue to enjoy this great weather. We hope it continues. Mr. Price, if it's okay with Emily, do we want to do a workshop tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, I can bring breakfast sandwiches into the office and I'll get pre-orders from you guys and we can do it in my office, but we'd have to do it before the July 4th week because I'll be away that week. Do you want to do that?
Why don't you pick a time that suits you and shoot it to us in an email and then we'll get back to you right away.
Right, and I'll make sure everybody gets CC'd in on that and we'll do it, you know, whatever's convenient, 8:15 or whatever for people.
That sounds good. So
Okay,
we thank all of you for your participation this evening and we will see you in July.
thanks.
Thank you.
Good night. Have a happy
Good
4th.
night.
I'll see you guys before that.
All right.